Did you know that the Apple Watch has over 100 million active users worldwide? Just to put that number into perspective, Apple has held a dominant share of the smartwatch market for years. We're talking well over 50%, eclipsing competition from companies like Samsung and Google. So yeah, the Apple Watch is extremely popular. But here's the remarkable thing. A lot of people who use this device just aren't really aware of all of its hidden quirks and features, which are exactly what I'm gonna break down in this video. So I'm gonna cover 5 of the most unique and little known features of the Apple Watch. We'll start with those features that I'm hoping will be improved in the near future, and then we'll end with the ones that I think are just the most mind-blowing already as they are. By the end of the video, you'll learn a ton of cool stuff about the Apple Watch that you didn't even know existed. So let's get started. At number 5, there's Assistive Touch. Now this is a feature that lets you navigate the watch directly with your watch hand using a variety of different gestures. Now I've put this feature in last place because although there are lots of things that I love about it, there's also something that I really don't like about it and which I'm hoping is going to be improved. So let's take a closer look. Assistive Touch has 4 gestures in total. Pinch your pointing finger to your thumb and then you'll move to the next item on the screen. And if you double pinch, you'll move back an item. Clenching your fist twice brings up a menu for more complex commands, and to select a command, you just clench once. You can use gestures to navigate to a system button where you can access your dog, Apple Pay, Siri, and a lot more. And you can also bring up a pointer which you can move around by tilting your wrist in order to scroll or select things on screen. Now, to me, having this much control with just your watch hand is seriously cool. What I also like about Assistive Touch is all of its cool customization options. If you want to activate the feature, you need to go into your accessibility settings on your watch app, on your phone, or directly on the watch itself, then select Assistive Touch and just switch it on. On this page, you'll see a bunch of different settings you can tweak. So you've got controls for the sensitivity and the activation time of the pointer. You can customize the function of different hand gestures. You can select a gesture that you want to use in order to bring up the Assistive Touch menu. And you can adjust other visual details like contrast level and color. So yeah, there are a lot of cool options here. But here's the problem with Assistive Touch in my view. Currently, the hand gestures are just not that efficient to use. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm on the lock screen and I just want to open the watch. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so I have to double clench and then pinch to scroll to the app view, then clench to select, and then I'm in. Now that might sound and look okay, but look how much quicker it is just to press the digital crown. So just to be clear, I absolutely love the Assistive Touch feature. I'm just hoping Apple will optimize it better in future software or hardware updates, maybe by simplifying the hand gestures in order to make it more frictionless to use. Number 4 is storing and using your vaccination card. Now, of course, over the past couple of years, we've increasingly been living in this world in which many of us need easy access to our vaccine records. What's pretty neat is that the Apple Watch gives you that access in the form of a QR code, which you can then scan at a public venue or while traveling. My take on this feature is that it can be super convenient, but it might also not always be as useful as it looks, so let's take a closer look. First, let's take a closer look at how it works. So you download your card from your health provider onto your phone, and then press the option to add the card to your Apple Wallet. In order to access the card on your watch, you just double tap the side button to bring up the Apple Pay menu, and then scroll down to the card and tap on it, and then your watch will display the QR code. Now, if your health provider is verifiable by Apple, then you can also add your vaccination card to both the Apple Health app and your Apple Wallet. You just scan the QR code and then press the button to add to Wallet and Health. Afterwards, you'll be able to keep more accessible digital records of your vaccination history. So I'm basically a huge fan of this feature. I mean, I love the convenience of scanning a QR code on your wrist whenever you need to. There's just one thing to keep in mind, which is that if you want, you can also use your phone to scan QR codes. Which, you know, might make scanning on your watch a little less useful than it seems, maybe a little pointless. Still a big fan of the option though. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, then if you sub to the channel, I would massively appreciate it. Okay, things get better with number 3, setting watch faces. This feature I really like. Now, before talking about it further, I think it is important to know that the Apple Watch is not a fashion piece, unlike a handcrafted mechanical watch. It is a piece of consumer tech. But that doesn't stop it from having some super cool visual customization options that for me just make it that much more enjoyable to use. Plus, while you may already know that the Apple Watch comes with a bunch of different watch faces, you might not be aware of some of them, so let's check them out. One watch face I think is pretty cool is what Apple has called the Artist. So this one displays an almost cartoon-like image of a person's face, which changes shape and color every time you tap it. And according to Apple, there are millions of combinations, so the images will just keep changing no matter how many times you tap on it. if you're one of those heathens into Apple's Memoji characters, because for some reason they had to come up with a different yet very similar name to the word emoji, who knows why, then you can also use a bunch of animated watch faces, loads of which happen to have a bunch of different animals in them. Come to think of it, I'm not sure whether or not this one looks more terrifying than it does adorable. If you prefer more of the traditional watch faces though, like I often do, there are also a bunch of those. Some of them just display the time, while others will display more information about your health and fitness, and even give you customizable shortcuts for accessing different apps. That's all super neat, love that. Number 2 is setting multiple timers. If you're using Pomodoro or another similar productivity technique for your workflow, then having just one timer is useful enough on its own. But having multiple timers running alongside one another is great if you're making a multi-course meal or working on a complex set of tasks. All you need to do is open the timer app, then press start on one of the timers that you want, and then repeat. You can use the preset options or the custom button at the top if you want to set a time that's not already listed. I love this feature, and I don't think there's much to complain about here. It's especially convenient if you don't already have your phone nearby. Okay, so lastly, number 1, my favorite lesser known Apple Watch feature, fall detection. So I think it's pretty easy for us not to think much about what would happen in a really awful situation if we suddenly suffered a bad fall, couldn't get up, and then needed serious medical attention. And I think that's partly because in our modern society, it's way too easy to take our health and well-being for granted. But if by some unfortunate circumstances you do suffer a bad fall, the Apple Watch can literally save your life by notifying emergency services. In order to turn on fall detection, open the Apple Watch app, tap the My Watch tab, and then tap Emergency SOS. Next, turn fall detection on, and you can select whether or not to have it on all the time or only during workouts. If the feature is turned on and your watch detects that you've fallen and are immobile, then it will begin a countdown and sound an alert so that you or someone nearby can hear it. After the countdown's finished, the watch will automatically contact emergency services for help. While you hopefully never have to use this feature, it is incredible that it is built into the Apple Watch. If you like this video, then make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing because it really helps out the channel. To check out my review of my favorite iPad case, click here. To check out some of the best productivity enhancement features on Apple devices, click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.